Hello everybody, my name is BearCozy, and today we have two new legendary heroes, two brand new epic heroes, as well as a whole bunch of other stuff that we're going to talk about right now. So if it's your first time here and you don't know me, my name is BearCozy. I strive to make not only entertaining but also educational videos, and I like to have a good time while I play the game. And as you can see on the screen in front of me, the brand new hero is called Thor. Now I'm not sure why they named him Thor, but that is what they did. His name is Thor, and he looks like a worgen. He is a werewolf, right? And he's got an epic sword. He's got a really, really awesome sword. So what I want to do is I want to dive right into it and talk about the new heroes. The first heroes you can find are under Soul Plunder, and that one is actually Aubrey. Aubrey is the very first legendary, and that is going to be a dark legendary. Now, Aubrey looks pretty cool, right? He looks like a dark priest of the night. He's got the unholy lantern there. He's got the unholy staff and the unholy dagger as well. Kind of cool with the hood. And he does look awesome. I really enjoy what they did with him. I really enjoy lighter heroes on the light side, but I think he looks amazing. So Aubrey is the first hero. Then, of course, we have the second hero, who is Jabez down here. He looks really, really cool. He looks like a shadow hunter, right? Those are the two. He's an epic. And he's the second hero. And then, of course, we have the very new hero, legendary Thor. He is a werewolf. We're going to talk about him in a minute. So he's going to be really, really cool. He's got kind of an interesting kit, a little bit funky. We're going to go over that in a minute. And the last one is actually going to be under Titan Icelands, and that is going to be Aurea. Now, Aurea looks amazing. She looks like a barbarian. Looks kind of cool. Looks like she's a hunter. She killed some animals, made her own clothing, so she looks really cool. And since we're talking about Aurea, let's go ahead and start with her. She's an epic. She's a night epic, right? She's a dark epic, which is awesome, dark element. And if we go ahead and look at her trait is called Deform Enhancement. Inflicts taunt for one turn to whichever enemy has the highest speed at the start of the battle. So that right there is very, very good for Arena right off the bat, right? She automatically inflicts taunt on one enemy that has the highest speed, which is awesome. Her basic is called Great Slash, and it deals 80% damage to an enemy with a 60% chance to apply Unhealable. Unfortunately, Unhealable is not a 100% chance, but I don't think anyone has 100% Unhealable. She is also an epic, and she will be really good in the curse set if you are going for the Unhealable buff, right, for an extra chance to apply. Her special is called Savage Strike, deals 100% damage to an enemy and applies taunt and attack down 2, which is awesome for 2 turns. Attack down 2 is negative 50% attack, and once again, she's going to be really, really good in Arena, primarily on defense, right? And if we go ahead and look at her ultimate, Shadow of the Savage is her ultimate. Removes 2 positive effects from an enemy, deals 150% damage to the target, and applies taunt for 1 turn, grants Spiked Restoration for 3 turns. Spiked Restoration restores 15% of max health upon taking damage. So, because she's taunting everybody, which is really nice, she also applies Unhealable. And then when she takes damage from the taunted heroes, from the taunted enemies, she will restore 15% of max health. And she's going to go really, really well with somebody who heals. And she's going to go really well in a revival set, right? Paired with somebody like Brand and maybe Yolanda. She's going to be a really nice hero. And she is a dark element. The next hero we're going to be looking at is, of course, Thor. Now, Thor, he's got kind of an interesting name. I would not have named him that, but he is a Night Howler, as you can tell. He is a water element, which is interesting since he's all red, and he is infested. Now, just by looking at him, he definitely has some kind of a demonic power going on, right? Because if you look at his weapon, not only do I see a jaws right here, upper jaws, lower jaws, but it looks like it's either a creature that he killed. I see a skull as well. It looks like either a creature that he killed with a really large infested tongue, or there's some kind of an infestation or a heartbeat. It is pulsing, but it doesn't look like a heart to me, so it's definitely some kind of an infestation. And if you can tell, it's actually starting to take him over, and he's starting to get empowered by him. So he looks really cool, and he has a very interesting kit. The first thing to note is his attack is actually S tier, and that's going to be awesome. He is a water element. I feel like most of my damage dealing heroes are water elements for whatever reason. But if we go ahead and look at his trait, he has a lot going on. He converts 60% of health damage dealt to his character from enemy attacks into delusive health. Delusive health converts a percentage of the damage taken into true health, which means it heals him. Converts 50% of health damage taken into true health if affected by delusive health. So that is kind of a very, very interesting. It also grants 1 block at the start of battle. And of course, each block reduces damage taken by 15%. Each attack on this character removes the block. His basic is called Wear Frenzy. Grants a focus boost before launching 2 attacks for 120% total damage. Against one enemy with each attack, a 100% chance of applying bleeding. So he applies bleeds for 2 turns on a single enemy with his basic. That's kind of nice. He's a bleed character. He will work really well with some of the other characters that affect bleeding and increase bleeding. Pounce is his passive. Counterattacks against any attacker affected by bleeds. To strike a team member with Blood Rage, deals 100% damage plus true damage equal to 10% of max health against the enemy, or 3% max health against bosses at the cost of 10% of his own health. So that is kind of a neat trick. He does bleeding, right? He does true damage as well. However, on the targets that are bleeding, however, he sacrifices his own health. So that is something you need to be mindful of and keep an eye on that. He is most likely going to need some supplemental healing because he's going to continue sacrificing his own health. His ultimate is called Blood Moon. He deals 200% damage to the target while ignoring all positive effects on an enemy plus a bonus Lunar Instinct. Right now, we do not know what Lunar Instinct is. We don't have a help menu right here. We don't have, it's not clickable, and it doesn't show anything what Lunar Instinct does. So I'm assuming either I missed it or they're going to plug it in later. So he gains a bonus Lunar Instinct combo against all enemies, dealing 100% damage and inflicting unblockable bleeding for 2 turns if in delusive health. So that's kind of interesting. It bleeds and it's also unblockable if he's in the delusive health state, and that is unremovable, which is very, very nice. So he's going to be really, really good with other heroes that help bleeds, that increase bleeding effects, and he is a legendary, which is awesome. It's going to be a little bit tougher to get him because he is a legendary. Going to be tougher to ascend him as well. And it seems like all of the heroes that are coming out now are A5 ascensions, so that makes it even harder. The next hero is in the Soul Plunder faction, and that is going to be Jbez. Now, Jbez is an epic. He is a dark epic. He's a dark element, and he looks like a Night Hunter, which is awesome. He's got the funky arrows in the back, and I really like what they did with him. And I'm really liking what he's got going on. So if we go ahead and look at his trait, Bow Spear is his trait. Any non-boss enemy to gain a bonus turn must suffer an immediate counterattack by this character using their ultimate ability. So that is really interesting. When any hero on the enemy team takes a bonus turn, this guy counterattacks with his ultimate ability, which is really cool. That's kind of a cool mechanic. Dark Shot is his basic, deals 120% damage to one enemy with a 50% chance or 100% chance if this character's attack is higher than the target, of reducing this character's ultimate ability by 1 turn. So that's really neat. Every time he uses his basic and his attack is much higher than the enemy, he will reduce his ultimate ability by 1 turn. And then, of course, his trait allows him to counterattack with his ultimate, which is awesome. Soul Eater is his special. Counterattacks deflection damage, dealing 150% damage to the attacker while reducing ultimate ability cooldown by 1 turn. Grants plus 30 agility. So this guy will be really, really good if you have any agility on your gear. Any extra agility he will take because he counterattacks any damage that he deflects, which is nice. And then if we look at his ultimate is called Chaos Rain. Deals 300% damage to one enemy. That scales based on the difference between this character's and the target's initial attack. And their initial attack is, of course, before any buffs. And he also grants himself invincible for 1 turn upon defeating an enemy and cannot critically hit. So that's kind of interesting. His ultimate says it cannot be critically hit. The way that I'm reading it is his ultimate cannot critically hit at all because it deals 300% damage. And he also grants himself invincible. If you pulled him and if you got him, let me know in the comments below if you're using him and if his ultimate actually can crit. The way that I'm reading it is that it cannot. And he actually looks kind of cool. He is an epic and he is a dark element. The last brand new hero that we already looked at is a legendary, and his name is Aubrey. He looks really neat. He's also a dark element as well. He's a legendary, and if you look at his stats, his speed is actually S tier, which makes him really, really fast. Now, if we look at his trait heals any team member under enemy attack below 50% health for 15% of max health. And right away, looking at his trait, he looks like he will be paired really well with Thor, who is the new legendary, who's the werewolf, right? Because he has some healing as well, but he also has some sacrifices. He also sacrifices 10% of his own health to do some true damage. And since this guy's trait heals any team member under enemy attack below 50% health for 15% max health, that is going to be nice. It looks like it cannot trigger more than once per round. That is the way I'm reading it. If we go ahead and look at his basic is Ghost Blade, deals 100% damage to an enemy and heals whichever team member has the lowest percentage of health remaining for 8% of max health. This guy is really, really good. Very sustain heavy hero. That's going to be really awesome. Soul Devotional is the special, applies attack up, which we can see here that it gives us plus 30% attack and crit damage up, which gives us plus 30% crit damage. That is huge. And then he applies that to one team member for 2 turns and a bonus turn at the end of the round to the team member. That is going to be awesome. The attack up, the crit damage up, plus a bonus turn is going to be absolutely amazing. So this would go really well on finishing off some heroes in Arena. After a quick freeze of the game, we're jumping right back into it, looking at Aubry's ultimate. His ultimate deals 150% damage to all enemies and applies no positive effects for 2 turns, and he grants team-wide immune, which is absolutely awesome. This character will not be affected by negative effects. So he not only places no positive effects on the enemy team, but he also grants our whole team immune, which is really, really cool. It is a 5-turn cooldown, so you have to be mindful of that. But no positive effects is really good, not only on their team, but also on our team. And he can actually go first. His speed is S tier, and he can actually go first, which is really nice. Use his ultimate, do some damage, take the shields off if need be, if they have Brand on the other team. Apply no positive effects for 2 turns, and then grant immunity to our team. So he's going to be really, really cool. He is a little bit on the sustaining side, but once again, he can be most likely very well suited for arena defense because of his healing abilities. So that is going to be it. There are also lots more patch notes. I'm not going to go over all of them, but I do want to show you what's going on. Jumping into the patch notes, on top of the 2 legendaries and 2 new epic heroes, we also have added a custom gear set, which is nice. Added a new function to create custom gear set. Added a new function of the backpack, discard multiple gear. That's kind of cool. We also have new gameplay. New Ruins of the God opens up, which is really nice. Added guild ranking list and optimized the interface. We also have a few more things, including an advanced summon rate. The chance of summoning Thor increases by 3%, so that's going to be awesome. There are also a few other changes. You can feel free to read these for yourself. This video is getting a little bit longer, but there are all the changes right there. Feel free to go over them and read them for yourself. To keep this video from getting too long, that's going to do it for now. Please hit the like and the subscribe down below to help me grow the channel. Also, leave me a comment in the description below. Let me know if you pulled any of the new heroes and if you've gotten a chance to test them yet. As of right now, I have not got a chance to test any of the new heroes because I have not pulled them, but I look forward to all of your comments. And as always, thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next video.